Cruise lines have been making a lot of sneaky changes recently, and most cruisers haven't even heard of some of them yet. But they're not all bad. Yes, some of them are true money grabs, and we're gonna get to those. But there are also some changes being made that should make your overall cruise vacation much more enjoyable. I'm Gary with Optimal Cruising, bringing you fresh cruise advice, money-saving hacks, and secret strategies the cruise lines don't advertise. Let's get right into it. Let's get started with some of my least favorite changes going on right now. They're pure money grabs, and they all have to do with drink packages on various cruise lines. Now, when I go on a cruise, if I'm gonna order the drink package, I expect it to cover everything. I mean, you're paying between $500 to $800 a person, depending on the line and the cruise, for that unlimited drink package. So it's really kind of sneaky for a cruise line to then say, oh, well, you're limited to a certain number of drinks with that, or it doesn't really apply to our bar on our own private island. I mean, does that make sense to you? This brings us to our first change. Norwegian Cruise Line has announced that starting in March, their drink package will no longer cover any beverages on Great Stirrup Cay, which is their private island in the Bahamas. This bothers me because their whole advertising ploy is free at sea. So what does that mean? Like when you get off the boat and you're now on land, that free doesn't apply anymore? It's really just about the bottom line for Norwegian. They're trying to increase profitability on their private island. So if you're sailing with them today and you have a stop at Great Stirrup Cay, you're getting free drinks. But after March, you have to pay an upcharge to have that drink package on the island. For me, it's not worth it. I don't usually buy the drink package anyway, but I know a lot of people do, and this is a really unfair change. One of the things I really like about MSC and Royal Caribbean is that they haven't made any changes like this yet. In fact, their drink packages cover all drinks on their private islands. And then the second money grab out there, which I can't fault them as much because this cruise line was doing something that no other cruise line did, and they just decided to stop the practice. So this is going to be Royal Caribbean canceling their drink package exception. This happened at the end of 2025. If you sail a lot on Royal Caribbean, like I do, then you know that in the past, if you wanted to buy the drink package and you were sailing with a partner who didn't, and they had a valid reason, maybe they were pregnant, maybe they had a medical condition and they couldn't drink, maybe there was another reason that you could give Royal Caribbean, they would make an exception and allow you to just purchase the drink package for yourself and not have to pay for the partner who doesn't drink. Now, Royal Caribbean feels like people were abusing the system and taking advantage, and that one partner would buy the package, get the exemption for the other person, and then buy drinks and share them, and that's not really fair either. But I know several passengers who would take advantage of this exemption because one partner really didn't drink. And for those people, it's gonna be a change that is rather unwelcome. Now, these next changes are gonna cause some controversy, but they're gonna make some cruisers very happy. Are you a duck person? Frankly, I'm not really, but they don't bother me. And cruisers all over the world are hiding ducks on cruise ships and ports of call everywhere. But there's one place is not allowed anymore. And anybody familiar with Royal Caribbean's newer or bigger ships knows Central Park. And this is a beautiful internal area of the ship where they have some great plants. And they're actually live plants growing there because they have open air and sunlight access. And Royal Caribbean put out a statement that too many people are hiding ducks among the foliage, the plants, and trampling live plants and hurting them or even killing them in some cases, and they've had enough. So no longer will cruisers be allowed to hide ducks in this area. In fact, they say there are consequences if you get caught doing so. I'm not sure what those consequences would be. What do you think? Are these ducks becoming a bit of a nuisance, or just let people have fun on their vacations? And this next point is gonna make some cruisers really happy, and I'm talking about people who hate the chair hogs. Now, we all know what a chair hog is on a cruise ship. Somebody who gets up between 6 and 7 in the morning, locks down a chair, and then disappears for hours. expecting that nobody should sit on that chair while they're doing something else. Now in other videos, I have advised people if they want a good spot to get up early and take that spot, but you really need to stay there and own the chair. You can't be getting up and leaving for hours and expecting that nobody else can use those public chairs. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, MSC, they've all had chair hog policies for a while now. Supposedly, if staff notice that you're not there for over 30 minutes, they'll pick up your stuff so that the chairs are vacant for other cruisers. I've actually only seen staff do this once, so I don't think the staff really wants to enforce this policy, but P&O Cruise Lines, which is a subsidiary of Carnival, is coming out with a new chair hog policy this year, which could change things, and we expect Carnival and other cruise lines to follow. And that is, they're going to start tagging chairs. So they're going to have staff members responsible for tagging chairs that are unattended, and maybe it'll be color coded, I don't really know, but there'll be some system where they can do their rounds every 30 minutes and they notice that that tag is still there and you're not back, boom, your stuff is gone. What do you think about this? Should this help alleviate the chair problem on some cruise ships? Or is it just going to create more angry passengers? And this next ban should make us all feel a lot more comfortable on our cruise ships. And that's MSC's smart glasses ban. So they're no longer going to allow people to wear these smart glasses that can record audio and video. And the reason is because it is kind of an invasion of privacy. I mean, if you're walking around with an obvious video camera or with your phone and you're obviously recording stuff, people know that. If somebody doesn't want to be in that, they get out of your way, they get out of there. MSC says it's really more about a privacy thing, and yes, you're in a public area on a public cruise deck, but you should at least know if somebody's recording so that you have the option to stay there or not. And frankly, it just feels a bit creepy to have people out there recording you secretly. And then this next ban changes the way a lot of cruisers listen to music, and maybe in a good way. Now, Bluetooth speakers are an item I always bring on cruises with me, but I use it to listen to what I want to listen to in my cabin. I don't use it in public areas where other people have to listen to the same thing I want to listen to. But unfortunately, too many cruisers don't use their Bluetooth speakers with this kind of respect. And that's why they've been banned by more and more cruise lines and in more places. And the latest ban is on Royal Caribbean's private island. So Royal Caribbean started banning these in all public areas on their ships. They still allow you to bring them on board, but only for use in your private cabin. And now they won't even let you use them on their beaches on their private island. Now, to be fair, Carnival Cruise Line has already banned these altogether. You can't even bring them on the ship. On other cruise lines have similar policies for use of these speakers in public areas. So guys, just get some headphones, some earbuds. You want to listen to your music as loud as you want, whatever you want to. You're not going to bother anybody else. And that's what cruising should be. Everybody have fun, but don't infringe on other people. This ban is probably going to make a lot more cruisers happy than it will disappoint. What do you think? And this next set of bans might surprise some people. I've been to the Bahamas several times on cruises, and it's always a great time. And one of the popular shore excursions there is to take an ATV ride or a ride around on scooters, which are very prevalent in the Bahama Islands. However, the age limit for these things is changing, and this change could significantly affect a lot of cruisers, especially people cruising with adult-age children. It used to be you could drive an ATV or a scooter in the Bahamas and you only had to be 18 years old, but the law has changed. Now you have to be at least 21, and in some cases, providers are taking this a step further and saying you have to be 25. And the problem comes in here. While this applies to all major cruise lines across the board because it's Bahamian law, some cruise lines are still advertising in their schedules of excursions that you only have to be 18 to do the ATV excursion or to do a scooter tour excursion. And that's not accurate anymore. So if you have an upcoming cruise in the Bahamas, be wary about excursions that promise that you can drive these things if you're only 18, because once you get there, you'll be disappointed. I'm going to get to another safety ban, which is rather shocking and will affect a lot of cruisers with itineraries longer than 10 days. But first, if you've gotten any good information so far, make sure you subscribe to our channel and get all of our cruising updates. Before I get to this ban that really surprised me, Disney has implemented a ban that has kind of flown under the radar, and that is no longer can passengers bring on hair dryers that are greater than 2,000 watts. And they say that this trips circuit breakers and causes other problems and could be an electrical or fire hazard. I'm not sure if that's really the reason. Maybe it's just more of a hassle with circuit breakers being tripped. I know my wife would prefer to bring her own hair dryer on board because she has a lot of hair and she has one that she really likes that dries it thoroughly. And the ones provided by the cruise ships may not be that strong, depends on the cruise line of course, but if you're traveling on Disney, these will now be confiscated at check-in and you won't get it back till the end of your trip. And I really couldn't believe it when I saw that MSC is now going to ban all children under 2 years old from all cruises longer than 10 nights. That means families with young kids will not be able to take these cruises on MSC any longer. Now, MSC put out a statement that most of their longer cruises spend a lot of time in the open ocean, such as transatlantic cruises or trans-Pacific cruises, and they don't want to be responsible for potential medical problems that younger children would be more prone to. The interesting thing is MSC is the first in the cruising industry to do this. Most cruise lines have a ban for longer cruises of kids under 1 year old. That's a little more understandable. But now MSC has extended that to 2 years, and perhaps other cruise lines will follow this. So it's important for families to understand if you're trying to do one of these transatlantic or bucket list cruises that tend to be 2 weeks or more, you can't take those little kids on anymore. So now that you're up to date on the latest cruise line bans, there are some activities going on cruise ships right now that really are for adults only. And you might be surprised that some of them are still allowed. I'll tell you all about those right here.